Since the first moment I knew the Japanese lifestyle suited me more. I've had an interest in Japanese culture ever since I was a teenager, you know. It started with anime. There was actually this cooking anime. It's called Shokugeki no Soma. It's basically this guy goes to culinary school, and it's basically like see who's the better chef and you know, fight against each other, making different dishes. That just amazed me. You know, I was like, whoa. There's more than just British and Spanish or Mediterranean food. There's actual, like, you know, Indian, Japanese, Asian. So yeah, ever since I was a teenager, I've been interested in Japanese culture, but not only because of the anime, but also because of the way that Japanese people are. You know, very respectful. It's quite similar to British lifestyle in a way, but it suits me. I decided to go on my first Japanese journey when I was 21. So I planned the entire journey on my own. My mum was really worried. She was pretty scared, you know, are you going to be alright? You better message me every day. So after coming back from Japan, I had a dilemma because I came back and I was in love with Japanese cuisine. Like, I could only think about, you know, about the okonomiyaki I had in Asakusa, or about that kaiseki I tried in Kyoto, or, you know, the izakaya style of cooking, yakitori and all, and just the every day I would think about Japanese cuisine. My name is Ian Prsye Piedra. I live in Madrid. I'm 23 years old. Currently I'm working at Sushi Bar Hana. It's my first Japanese restaurant, but I've always wanted to be a chef. My mum's Spanish, my dad's British, my mum's from Madrid, but she's also lived in other countries of Europe. She's lived in Brussels, she studied in Brussels, and she also lived in Wales with my dad. So my mum knows Spanish, English and French. My dad, he's from Wales. Yeah, they both met in Europe, just traveling. You know, they were both like in this hippie kind of era. You know, people wanted to explore Europe, and the best way was just traveling. You know, by any needs necessary to whichever country they wanted. And all of a sudden, you know, they just met each other. A couple of years later, I was born. My dad was the chef of the family. My mum, bless her, but she's not the greatest chef. But she does have a couple of dishes that, you know, I personally love. But even she says, you know, she's not really into cooking. But my dad, on the other side, he never studied cooking. He's always, enjoyed it. And I remember just being with him in the kitchen, just preparing curries or chili con carne, just loads of different foods. And I remember, the kitchen just smelling, each day would smell different, and it was a very special part of me, getting interest in food. I started at the age of 7, just cooking, whatever I could, spaghettis, bolognese, or just fried sausages with chips or stuff like that, just simple foods. But that's how it all started. I've always had that need to work and be independent. When my parents got divorced at the age of 7, I started cooking at home. Every day it would be like a little bit more elaborate dishes. My mum would help, even though she wasn't at home. She would leave me like simple recipes, how to cook rice or how to boil spaghetti. From then, every time I would, ask her, oh, can I cook this, or can I help you with lunch? And I really appreciate those moments in the kitchen. For me, at least, it was the only moment when I got the chance to be with my mother, because she was always working. My first job was as a butcher, but even then I knew I wanted, I took that job because I had to do something with food, and I knew it was going to, push me into the food kind of culinary kind of industry. Everything in my life has brought me to getting the interest in, the culinary arts. Now my day-to-day life, I'm living alone in Madrid. Basically it's go to the restaurant, learn as much as you can, spend all the day at the restaurant, reading, cooking, looking at cooking videos whenever I can. I'll ask Janik if I can read one of his books. He's got like loads of Japanese cooking books that are amazing. On my days off, I just basically go out, try new food, do laundry. It's hard sometimes, but it's also, really good to have your own time and to be able to just do whatever you want. How I met Janik Fleming was basically thanks to, he used to do these videos on Instagram. Janik, he comes from a family of artists, so he's really good at editing and recording videos. So he would, do like a monthly Instagram video of fuera de carta, which means like, something that's not on the menu, something that's in season right now and it's a special dish, and he would make like an entire video of it and he'd post it on Instagram. One day I was just passing through Instagram looking at Japanese food, and all of a sudden this 2-meter tall British guy living in Madrid appeared, showing a massive piece of tuna. I was intrigued, who is this guy? Why haven't I heard of Sushi Bahana? I have to watch more, and I ended up watching all his Instagram videos. And yeah, I said, okay, I think I want to work here. So I sent my CV to Sushi Bahana. I sent 2 emails. My first email was July, and I didn't get a response. So I waited a couple more months, and I sent a second email because I really wanted to work at Sushi Bahana. Even offered to, work free, or, to just give me a chance. On the second email was Janik, and he said yes, that he'd give me a testing day and that we would see from there. And when I met Janik in person, he was like, there's not a more authentic Japanese restaurant in Madrid than Sushi Bahana. Here you're gonna learn nigiris here, but also the hot kitchen, which is the base, how to make a proper dashi, how to control tempura temperature, how to make proper tempura, how to control charcoal and grilled dishes. That made me see that it's not only about nigiris. People just want nigiris, but Japanese cuisine is a lot more than just, some raw fish on rice. I knew I had to accept the offer. A couple of weeks later, I started working at Sushi Bahana. Now I'm the hot section chef of Sushi Bahana. So Mari-san, she's basically like a mother, for me. Her son is also named Ian, which is quite amusing. We always joke about it, and she's always there, to teach me, to help me. She's got loads of patience. She's like your Japanese mum that you've never had.
Buenos días, soy Mari, soy de Tokio, de Japón. Trabajo con Janek en Hana ya hace casi 3 años. Estoy encantada de trabajar aquí. Pues me alegro mucho por Ian, porque Ian es gran fan de Japón. Espero que pase muy bien y va a aprender mucho, porque va a ver el restaurante Kaiseki real en Kyoto. Y ayer vinieron sus cocineros y me alegro muchísimo de haberles visto, porque muy buenas personas. Muchas gracias por todo y han pasado muy bien.
We also have Miguel, which he's a mum school student. He did his work experience at Hana. Since the moment I knew him and I saw him work, I knew he had something special. He reminded me of me, someone that doesn't know too much because we're still young, but we have loads of energy.
I'm Miguel. I'm 20 years old. I studied at mom school, and I'm working here in Hana for 6 months. Working with Janek and with all the team, they help me a lot, because working in a professional kitchen, it's way different than school. So it's like a way easier path to follow, because Ian was like a mini Janek, like teaching me things he learned from him, and yeah, it was a pleasure working with him.
Janek, yeah, he's like a dad. He's taught me everything about Japanese cuisine. When I started at Hana, I didn't know anything, and he was patient. We started with the basics, and each month he'll show me something new and make sure I master it, and once I've mastered it, he'll show me another thing. And I really liked his method of teaching, because it doesn't put any pressure on you, but at the same time he's making sure that you improve for the better of of the business of Sushi Bahana, but also for you. He explains why you're doing this, so you actually like gain knowledge and makes you a better chef. I was really excited and nervous to meet Shimatani-san. I respect him a lot as a chef. My first impression was when I introduced myself. He was quite serious, but at the same time very calm, and I'm very grateful as well. I'm very polite. It's the perfect fit for, you know, for someone you admire and your boss. He was very calm, but at the same time he would tell me, oh, I like this, or what's this? He was very intrigued as well, especially when he tried the dessert. Like, he wanted to know what each ingredient was or how I did it, and that felt really, really good. He told Janek, you know, this is an amazing restaurant, and that meant a lot to me as well. He also mentioned about his son, that he was going to introduce me his son, that is the same age as me, you know, kind of like to show me around Kyoto. Shimatani-san yesterday had an omakase menu. What I prepared was the nimono one, which is a soup traditionally from Kyoto, which varies depending on the season and what ingredients we have. We had fresh Spanish lobster coming from Galicia. We used that to make a homemade tofu with the miso, with the head, which is, you know, the most flavors, you know, the part with the most flavor of the lobster. It's just loads of umami, and we also, in the nimono, we used kurichichimi, which is a spice from Kyoto as well. It's like black pepper, and it just, everything goes very well together. The last dish was a really important dish for me. It was a dessert, which I had been preparing for a couple of days before he came. I knew I wanted the main ingredient to be black sesame seed because it's a very Japanese ingredient. It's not too sweet, which I think is very important for, especially for Japanese people. It's not like here in Europe where we need to have a chocolate sauce and then a vanilla ice cream, and it's just everything ends up being too sweet and it doesn't go well together. So I made black sesame seed panna cotta, a black sesame seed homemade ice cream as well. I also went with uzukocho jelly, which is a plum alcohol, which they use a lot in Japan, so I knew they would recognize it, and matcha crumble, which goes very well. Matcha and black sesame seed is a perfect pair, and I'm really happy when I saw the reaction of the dish, and I think I did cause a first good impression thanks to Janek especially, which he helped me with every dish, and I made sure everything was top quality. I wouldn't have guessed I would ever be going to work to Japan, to an actual proper kaiseki restaurant. I just want to bring new dishes and new, maybe even new style of Japanese cuisine to Hana and to Madrid. Here in Spain, we don't give that much importance to kaiseki style food. People think it's all about nigiris, and I want them to see that Japan is a lot more than just nigiris. You don't have to be talented to be good in the kitchen. Talent is not as important as the will to learn and, you know, the energy. So I'm going to want to make sure to listen to my peers in Sweden, and any advice, just absorb it, you know, and show that even though I'm not from Japan, I want to show my respect, and also that I'm really interested in their cuisine and I want to learn as much as possible. The flight was really comfortable, to be honest. Anna flights was amazing. We arrived at Kyoto around like 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. The first time we actually like got out, and yeah, all of a sudden just the heat hits you really hard. It's not like Madrid, which is super sunny and it's really hot, but Japan has this thing with the humidity that just takes it to a whole new level. And for someone like me that hasn't been to Japan in summer, I didn't expect it at all. Kyoto is my favorite Japanese city by far. It's got like the perfect mix of traditional Japanese buildings and culture, and traditions, which is my favorite part of Japan, the culture. And also it's got like this modern side with like it just seems like a normal Japanese city with really tall buildings and different businesses in each flat of the building, which is, yeah, it's impressive, to be honest. All of a sudden you're like on this really busy road and you just turn left, and all of a sudden you're in this quiet traditional Japanese neighborhood, and yeah, you wouldn't imagine that you're in a city. Walking, it's just, yeah, I could, you know, get lost the entire day and I wouldn't get bored just walking around Kyoto. It's amazing, breathtaking. I was a little bit more relaxed because I got to meet Shimatani-san before at Hana, and that was an incredible experience. So I wasn't that nervous about, you know, going to the restaurant and meeting him and his team, because I saw that he was a good person and, you know, really nice. We walked in and everyone was there, Shimatani-san, the whole team, and yeah, everyone came out, said hello, you know, presented themselves in like a really well-educated manner. And I'm not gonna say I was surprised because it's what Japan's known for, but it felt really, yeah, I was really comfortable meeting everyone. I didn't feel any pressure. I didn't feel like anyone didn't want to be there. Everyone was, yeah, just smiling and being really nice, and it was just a really nice first kind of encounter. I've brought like 5 shirts, 2 ties, 1 black, 1 blue, and some trousers and my shoes. They've given me the apron that says Sweden, and it's really comfortable, to be honest. And also they gave me like a chef's hat, Japanese version, which I thought was going to be a little bit uncomfortable, but once you start cooking and once you get in there, you actually forget you're even wearing a hat. It's really comfortable. Everyone has their own knives. When I brought my knives in, they were like, "Oh, it's really pretty." The head chef said that, so that meant a lot. And also, you know, like he noticed that I take care of my knives, I sharpen them, and yeah, even though we had a language barrier, I felt that connection of like respect from him. The first day, basically, Shimandani-san was the whole day with me, just, you know, showing me techniques, seeing if I knew how to do this, or helping me if I didn't. Also, Shimantani's son came in with his girlfriend and they gave me a hand with the language barrier, which was, you know, kind of helped me relax a little bit. Yeah, at the beginning it was a little bit of, you know, a little bit of a culture shock. I won't lie, you know, I have been nervous, especially the first few hours. I didn't sleep that much, and yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. Because of the language barrier, they would tell me, you know, just showing me with signals, just yeah, do this, put it like this. As the service went on and I was doing more stuff, I kind of got a little bit more loose and started, you know, my hands stopped shaking. And you know, started laughing with the staff. Yeah, everyone's super friendly.
English okay. English okay. Spanish okay. English okay. So here we have corn ice cream in textures. Yeah. We've got the ice cream, corn as a vegetable, and also cornflakes. Yeah. Then we've got a watermelon shot, watermelon passion fruit, and then also mochi filled with anko and a grape. I hope you enjoy. Good English. Please again in Spanish. Toda mi Spanish.
Tenemos aquí un helado de maíz en texturas. Después aquí tenemos un chupito de sandía. Y después tenemos un mochi relleno de alubia roja y con una uva encima. ¿Qué gusta usted? Shimantani-san also, you know, he's serious because he has to be, but also he has these moments when he's just joking around and, you know, and really wants you to improve. And yeah, just showed me a couple of techniques with knife techniques. I learned like 5 new things in just 2 hours, which I think it's amazing. I didn't know at the moment, but I was basically preparing, doing like how we would call in Europe would be the mise en place of the bento boxes that we were going to start doing the next day. The bento boxes I've had, you know, the typical bento boxes you'll get from 7-Eleven or, you know, a Japanese supermarket, so it's quite simple compared to the ones that they do in Sweden. I think I partook in every little bite. There was in total there was 16 little bites, and I started at 9 o'clock and we finished the bento boxes at 3 p.m. 6 hours of just bento boxes. We did like 21 bento boxes. Yeah, 21 bento boxes, 16 bites. If you do the maths, it's quite a lot of dishes, and everything is well thought, the flavors, the colors, variety as well. Yeah, it's just something that amazes me and I didn't appreciate until now. After the bento boxes, one of the guys from Sweden just told us to come with him, that there's like this special event, a special market just around the corner, and I was really surprised. I just thought, you know, we're just gonna clean up now, but yeah, it was a nice little surprise. Once we got there, it was just, yeah, endless amounts of just handmade potteries that were fascinating. Like in Europe, we don't give so much importance to the pottery. It's more about the food, it's more about the flavors. But in Japan, I'd say the dish is as important as the food itself. And I really strongly believe that's the case. Once you understand that concept, you'll never see like food the same way. You'll always be looking at, oh, does the color match with the food they're giving me, or oh, look at this handmade cup that they've just given me, and you just start, you know, realizing like small details that make a really big difference between a good and a bad dish.
どうぞどうぞ飲んでください。飲んでください。
本当にありがとう。
ここの料理はすべて手作りですか？
はい。そうです。
We met this old lady, very nice, very friendly. She explained to us that they have potteries for every season, depending on, you know, the colors. It's one season or another. So if it's green and golden, it's for summer. If it's red, it's for autumn. If it's like pink and white, it's sakura season. Just in that experience, once again, I've learned so many different little things that, you know, helps me figure out the puzzle, which is, you know, Japanese cuisine. the last day of my first week at Sweden, Shimatani-san all of a sudden just told me to go with him to Arashiyama. He was going to show us like the old restaurant where he worked at. First of all, we went to Nishiki Market, which is just like in the center of Kyoto, and you know there's like really fresh products, but not only food, also like knife stores, and yeah, just the food was amazing. It reminded me a little bit of the fish market back in Madrid, but yeah, of course, like different sorts of fish, like river fishes, just like small river crabs, also stuff that you don't really see in the UK or in Spain or in Europe in general. After the market, we also went to one of Shimatani-san's friends' restaurants. Shimatani-san managed to get me to work there during one service, so I'm looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a really good experience working with another Japanese chef with, you know, a completely different kitchen and his own rules, and you know, and respect those rules and get to know him and what sort of clients go to the restaurant. And after that, we went to Arashiyama, to one of the first restaurants where Shimatani-san worked at, and also where he met his wife. He also brought his son Gen-san and his girlfriend Libby. In the restaurant where we went to, they have the recipe of this shiso juice, which was really nice. But actually, Shimatani-san's wife made it when she was working there, and it's still there after 20 years. And even the boss was like, I love this recipe because it's so cheap. So that's, you know, that's mainly why it's still on the menu, but also because it's really, really, really nice. I tried it was delicious, and just something really different from what you'd have in Spain. And I think it'd be a really good idea to take to Hana and try and, you know, get the recipe for the shiso juice. We went upstairs and had one of the bentos they have, bento boxes, which was, if I'm not mistaken, like 12 to 16 dishes. Every single dish a little bit different. It reminded me of the bento boxes I made at Sweden the first week, and it was just delicious. We got to see the kitchen. They were like, it's a huge kitchen for Japanese standards. And the reason why I got, you know, the boss explained was like they also prepare food for like other chains they have around Kyoto or near the Kyoto area. So yeah, I guess there's a lot of cooking going on, and that explains, you know, why there were so many people and why the restaurant's so big. We also explored a little bit the Arashiyama river. We also went to Kyoto, which is where Janek's old boss used to work, and Kyoto is really famous in Kyoto. It's a really famous kaiseki style restaurant. I've read the book, and it's just seeing it, even though we couldn't go in obviously, but just seeing it from the outside and seeing the garden, I could imagine the level and the quality of the food there. And Shimatani-san was, it was really nice just taking me there, like, oh yeah, we talked about this the other day, let's go and see it. And yeah, it was just a small detail, but I noticed that Japanese people they focus a lot on these small details, and I'm starting to appreciate them even more every time something like this happens. Just small details that I think are really like nice. I had Monday and Tuesday off from Sweden, which I really appreciated. I was pretty tired from being in another restaurant in another country, in the other part of the world, miles away from home. So yeah, I really appreciated having a couple days off. The first day, Makiko-san took us to Kibune. It's an area on the north of Kyoto, which is quite like, everything's really green, a lot of mountains, and it was bank holiday in Japan, so it was packed. Just of not even foreigners, just Japanese people with their families, because it's become a really famous place over the past few years. There was like all these like little nice restaurants, and I think maybe even hotels. So they had these outdoor terraces right next to the river, and you could see it like even from outside, and it looked so cool. And then all of a sudden Makiko-san was like, yeah, we're gonna have lunch here. Yeah, I was just so happy. There wasn't even that many people there, which was really good. I think we were really lucky, because I think if it would have been like over touristy or if there would have been too many people shouting, you wouldn't actually appreciate the wonders of nature, of the river just right next to you, the noise of the river just passing through slowly, or the birds that are just right next to you because you're like in the outside. It's just amazing. We had a long menu, a Japanese menu, and there was some ingredients that I'd never seen before, and I think it was like very traditional Kyoto style food and cooking, with its hasun, with its soup, nimonoan, and all these like other little details. When I finished the meal, even though it was a long menu, I wasn't that full. Like, it was just calculated perfectly. The balance between food and also your well-being, which I think is really important in kaiseki menus. We finished the food and went to Kifune Shrine, and it was just beautiful, just amazing. I've been to a lot of shrines in Japan in my other vacations here, but yeah, this one was really calm. Everyone was like, because it was bank holiday, so people were lining up, I think, to like pay their respects. That's a little bit the culture differences also. I don't really know what exactly they were doing or why they were doing it, but I guess every person had like a different reason, and I could just feel, even though I didn't understand, I could feel the energy, and I could feel the importance that people gave it. Like, they were waiting in a line maybe for like 30 minutes just to pay their respects, so it must be really important to them, and that really like shocked me and made me appreciate what I was seeing, because it's not something you see every day.
the texture. It's milky, really nice. Yeah.
So on my second day of from Sweden, I met up with Ai-san and his wife Maki-san, which I met on my second journey to Japan thanks to Janek, who had also gone to their restaurant this summer last year. Their English is really good and they're really interested in like Western culture. Both of them just starting to learn Spanish. Sometimes we would speak Spanish together and, you know, they would try and say like an entire phrase in Spanish, and if anything was like incorrect, they'd ask me to correct them, and I would try to do the same way with Japanese, but definitely the Spanish is better than my Japanese, but still they were so nice about, you know, just teaching me new words in Japanese. They actually met in cooking school. Ai-san was telling us all about it, and I thought it was a really pretty story, and you know, and makes me believe in in those kind of love stories. Ai-san was telling me that in his first restaurant in Tokyo, he was there for like 7 years, and the first 2 years he would just wash dishes, and his senpais would give him like books, but not about cooking, about the dishes. But books about plates and different style, you know, what colors to use in which season and why they're so important. And I think they gave him those books, you know, so he could realize how important dishes actually are. You might be watching a pot or a dish that's been done for like 50 years and it's got like loads of history to it and a lot of like personal love from the chefs. One of the pottery shops he took us, before getting there, he was like, this is the best pottery shop in Kyoto. This is where all the chefs go to. And it was quite funny because it was the same pottery shop that Masa-san took us from Sweden, like just 5 days ago. And when we got there, the lady recognized us, and it was quite funny. And it made me see how important that pottery shop is and how small Kyoto actually is, you know, that all the chefs end up going to the same pottery shop because it's the best one there. And I just find it, once again, like how important the pottery is in Japanese cuisine. It's just as important as the food, and I didn't know that before coming here.
Our challenge is to explain Japanese culture, Japanese dishes, Japanese cuisine to foreign customers, because 80 or 90% of our customer is foreign country customers. So it's our job, and we also enjoyed it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I remember the first time I went to your restaurant, it was really, you were really welcoming and explained everything to me, even though I didn't know that. I knew a little, you know, a couple of things, and that made me really happy. Oh yeah, I know this ingredient, but yeah, the things I didn't know, you explained me, and it was, yeah. I still remember the dishes. That was a year ago when we met. I still remember the dishes I had that day because it was, yeah, really changed my point of view of Japanese cuisine. And yeah, it was really, I keep it really deep in my heart.
Japanese cuisine has so many meanings.
Yeah.
Of course, there are the countries' dishes also, but in Japanese cuisine, it's express season, like a summer dishes, winter dishes. So we explain the season and historical meaning it has. So to explain the meaning is our job, our duty, like that.
Wow.
Yeah. Of course, we like Spanish cuisine. Me gusta la comida española, of course, por supuesto. Because we sometimes go to foreign country restaurant in Japan and to inspired, especially so Spanish cuisine. So we sometimes go Spanish restaurant in Osaka to inspire a lot. And sometimes we create new dishes, a little bit Spanish taste, like paella or croqueta. Croqueta. So last month we made a beef tongue, Japanese beef tongue croqueta, actually. Yeah. I'll make you. I'll cook you. Yeah, okay. Of course, man. Our new dish. Yeah, you should try this. Yeah, man. We inspired a lot.
Yeah, I do the same really. Like in Madrid, I'll go to like authentic Japanese restaurants because now in Europe, like people think that Japanese cuisine is only like nigiris or sushi or makis, but really it's a lot more than just that. So yeah, I try and dive in and look for specialized restaurants like okonomiyaki, kaiseki, you know, and yeah. So I know what you mean by finding inspiration.
Yeah.
We went out for lunch and they took me to this really special place, sukiyaki. We had sukiyaki, which is like a hot pot, but Japanese style. And it's really like kind of like a family kind of meal or a meal you'd have with friends. You know, you prepare your meat, you mix it with whatever you want, just have beer together, and yeah, it was just such an amazing experience. And also Ai-san explained to me like a couple of things I didn't know about Japanese culture when, you know, going out to eat with someone, like how to pour beer and stuff like that. Curious thing about sukiyaki is depending on what, like how long has the hot pot been cooking the ingredients, they have one texture or another. So there's certain ingredients you can eat straight away, like they gave us straight away raw beef with raw egg. That's a little bit of a culture shock because you'd never do that in Europe. Even the raw egg is already a red flag, but here in Japan the quality of the ingredients are so well treated and, you know, so important that there's no problem at all if you have raw egg or raw beef. Everything is just fresh. It's been really well taken care of. You can serve for your friends, or, you know, you can serve yourself. I had like rice with mine. I repeated. I asked for another portion of rice because I was just liking it so much. It's really cool experience. The other day I was at this restaurant from one of Shimatani-san's friends, Ryo-san, who actually worked at Surin for 10 years. The restaurant is a different style from Surin. So Surin is a classical kaiseki kind of experience, like traditional, but Ryo-san's restaurant is a lot more, it's a lot smaller, and everyone starts at the same time, just so the chef doesn't have to, like, you know, prepare 2 plates at the same time. So once everyone's finished the first course, you know, he'll start with the second course, and meanwhile, you know, he'll give the clients like conversation. His style is traditional but also his own style, so he'll follow the basic rules of the kaiseki but then add a few touches of his style, which I think is what makes his restaurant so special. Yeah, like making a tempura from really high quality fish, and then placing those fishes in a way that he told me, he said it was like they were like swimming. To make a reservation in this restaurant, you'd have to wait an entire year. So I understand why Ryo-san was really like serious, and why everything was just so precise and so well thought, because someone's been waiting to have that meal for an entire year. So I want to make sure they remember this meal and they go and they come out of the restaurant happy. I think that's the mindset Ryo-san has, and it's definitely what, you know, the kind of lesson I got after watching him work and finishing the service together. It's just, yeah, mind blowing. My life, it's been quite a ride. At the age of 13, all of a sudden they detected a tumor in my head, a cancer. I didn't understand the full, like, how serious this was and how life-threatening it was, so it must have been really hard for everyone around me. Thankfully, after the 2 operations, I was okay. There's nothing normal about, you know, just having a brain tumor removed. That showed me that life isn't that easy, but thanks to that experience, it's made me who I am today. And I think what other people see like a big effort, like, oh, you're going to Japan to work in your holiday, I see as just another thing. Like I see like something normal. Right now, I'm just like any other guy, and the only thing is that I've got this scar, but I actually like this scar quite a lot. It reminds me every day when I look at myself in the mirror that I fought to be here, and I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change, you know, anything. It was really good meeting Rebecca at last. She looks like a really professional baker and a great person. These last few days in Kyoto with her have proven that. In my last day at Sweden, Shimatani-san prepared something really special. We started the afternoon with preparing warabi mochi, which is a really traditional Japanese Kyoto dessert for summer. It was really nice of Shimatani-san to teach us both.
Yeah, it was great making the mochi with Ian, because you can kind of see the enjoyment he has in it and how much he sort of got on with the rest of the chefs. He knew a little bit of Japanese, which was great. You can just see how he made sort of me feel comfortable in that kitchen when I was making it, because he kind of already had that connection with them. It was definitely great to have Ian to help me with the mixing part, because the mixing was quite strenuous, to be honest. The heat this year, sort of, because I've come in August this time, the heat has been sort of excruciating, and sort of to be by the stove when you're mixing for like a good, 15 minutes or so. The fire, I think because my face as well is so near the fire, that it actually, it is seriously hot.
Pull down your hands a little bit.
Sorry, do you want to have a go?
Don't worry, go for it.
Was that good or bad? The different types of mochi were fascinating, because he'd actually paired very unusual ingredients with the different types of mochi. He'd put olive oil with one of them and pepper, which I would never think to pair the two together. It was very difficult to kind of pick up and to chew. And I think it's the texture which makes it so different, that one. Yeah, you can pair literally whatever you want with it, which sort of gives you a little bit of freedom as well with that.
Yeah, it was really nice, like, you know, being able to do that. It was really nice of Shimatani-san to teach us both how to make warabi mochi, and I will definitely be using it in Madrid.
Film like all of a sudden like Lee's recording and he goes like or something like that.
This last week at Sweden, I've just felt like at home. It didn't feel like I was a guest anymore. It just felt like I was part of the team. My last day was really special, and Shimatani-san all of a sudden came back into the kitchen and told me, "Oh yeah, and you're making paella for two customers tonight." And I accepted the challenge and made sure that it was the best paella I could possibly make. After the night service, Shimatani-san had planned like a farewell party, and I thought, you know, it's just going to be something small, you know, just thank you very much and goodbye. But no, it was like, it was even like a family meeting. It felt like, you know, just like a family dinner you'd have in New Year's, everyone just, you know, happy, chatting. Shimatani-san even taught us how to like do nigiris and cut fish as well, and how to make maki rolls also. It really meant a lot to me. It really meant a lot. Shimatani-san also invited a couple of friends of his that on my days off or in my free time, Shimatani would take me to their restaurants, because they're all people that have worked together when they were younger. And now each one has gone like their own path, but even then, even now, you know, they meet up and have a couple drinks and talk about life and how things were before and how things are now, and yeah, it was really good. There was this really special moment in the farewell party where all of a sudden Shimatani-san, Ryo-san and Dan-san, each one of them said a speech to the kohais and the senpais, to everyone was there. So everyone was stood silent for like 20 minutes and we just listened to all their advice. All of a sudden Shimatani-san went and brought all these different presents for me. So one of them was a Yanagiba knife. What Shimatani-san told me, it was like, I want to see how your knife, this knife that I'm giving you now, I want to see it in 10 years time, and I want to see the handle to have, you know, changed and to have the shape of your hand, because that will mean that you have been using this knife and that you've taken really good care of it. It really got to me and I really felt something inside. I was happy, I was excited, but I was also sad that, you know, that this was like a farewell and that I wasn't going to be able to work with them anymore. But at the end, I really appreciate what they did. I wouldn't change this experience for anything in the world. It's been totally unique. My final thoughts about Sweden is that it's a family. It's not a restaurant, it's a family. And Shimatani-san told me that now I have the Sweden jacket, so that means I'm part of the team.